On Sundays, we talk lucha things in AAA, and boy, oh boy, did we have a great episode of AAA this week. But also, we had WWE Saturday Night Main Event. So today, lucky you, you get a 2-for-1 because this is Lucha Things This Week in AAA, and it's WWE Saturday Night's Main Event Explained. Before we get into it, though, make sure to hit that button to subscribe, hit that bell for notifications. Look, there's a lot of great things happening in the world of wrestling right now, so hit subscribe. We're covering all of it. It's a perfect time for you to join this channel, posting as much as we can to try to keep up with a lot of these wrestling things. All right, now let's get into it. We're going to start it off with AAA. It was the same length as every other week, but it just flew by. Just three big things that happened this week on AAA. We had Rey Mysterio. He was announced this week. He was announced this weekend today as I'm recording this as the new on-screen general manager for AAA. We had talked last week about it possibly being Dorian Roldan after, he had been kind of politicking his way into becoming the new general manager with AAA. He was kind of running backdoor conversations with his aunt, La Licenciada Peña, Marisela Peña. But we were seeing meetings happening kind of without him knowing. We saw Tejano Jr., of course. We saw Cibernetico having conversations with La Doctora Marisela Peña about this general manager position. But no, it turns out this week we learned that it would be Rey Mysterio. And I think that this is a perfect fit. I think that this is a really fun role for Rey. I don't know. We haven't seen him on WWE TV in a long time. I know there have been a lot of injuries that have kind of prevented him from wrestling as much as we normally see of him. But I think that this is great. I think that Rey Mysterio is definitely a name that carries a lot of weight in the lucha world. It's a name that carries a lot of weight within AAA. And having him as the on-screen general manager, I think, is a great call. I think it will bring a bunch of eyes that maybe aren't watching AAA. And if you're not watching AAA, by the way, weird that you're watching this video, but if you're not watching AAA, you absolutely should. I've said it before, I'll say it again. It is the most exciting night of wrestling. It is the most exciting 1 hour of wrestling that flies by in a breeze. So go check it out if you haven't. But yeah, Rey Mysterio, the new general manager for AAA. And we immediately jumped right into the Cruiserweight Championship match between Laredo Kid and Rey Fenix. Boy, was this an awesome match. As we saw in weeks past, right, these two have put on classics. They put on a classic a couple weeks ago where people started throwing their money onto the ring. And yeah, we were going to get that match again. The match did not disappoint. We got a bunch of just fast-paced action, a bunch of high-flying moves. We then got a Adios Amigo from Rey Fenix onto Laredo Kid. And it got a little confusing there for a sec because Laredo Kid would not stand up. Like, he would try to stand up and he'd fall over. And for a bit, I was like, okay, like, what's going on here? Is this story? Is this like actually happening? Is this a work? Or, or is this like not kayfabe and this is an actual injury that might have happened during this whole thing? And both of these guys and the referee, they all sold it really well. I did not see an X go up, so I was like, okay, all right, this is definitely kayfabe. But yeah, as the ref went ringside to kind of get them to call for medical attention, Laredo Kid gave a low blow to Rey Fenix, who was dominating the match, by the way. But yeah, like once this like injury happened, Rey Fenix kind of stepped back and was actually showing concern for his opponent. But yeah, Laredo Kid gave him a low blow, gave him a 1, 2, 3, and he retained his Cruiserweight Championship. So heelish ways, we're seeing Laredo Kid turn to the dark side, right? Become a heel champion, become a heel wrestler, and I'm liking it. I'm really liking the saga that we're seeing here. After the match, the new general manager, Rey Mysterio, ran into Laredo Kid in the back, and he's like, you're not getting away with that. So as part of Noche de los Grandes, we are going to get the rematch. So next week, we will be getting the rematch between Laredo Kid and Rey Fenix for that Cruiserweight Championship again. So I do think that in the rematch, we are going to get Rey Fenix to come out on top. He will be winning this match, I think, and we will have a new Cruiserweight Championship in Rey Fenix, which is great because we're not using him on SmackDown. So why not? Why not put a championship on him? Why not send him to AAA for a bit, keep him busy, have him just kick everyone's butt, and then we'll bring him back up to SmackDown when WWE figures out how to write for their best in-ring wrestler that they have on the roster. It's incredible to me that SmackDown doesn't know how to write for this guy, but they don't. So for now, we will only be seeing him in AAA, and honestly, I have no problem with that. And then just like that, we jumped into our main event of the night, which was the Creed brothers. Well, it was announced as the Creed brothers versus the Americanos, but who came out? It was Julio and Bruto, Credo, Los Hermanos, Los Americano Hermanos, I think is what they call themselves, versus the Americanos. Fun match. I like that. See, this is how you do that whole mask thing right. I've been criticizing WWE programming, especially like specifically Monday Night Raw, on how they've been just bringing out the Creeds in masks and not addressing the fact that these guys aren't part of the story in Mexico. It's just we put masks on the Creed brothers, but then on AAA, it's just the Creed brothers. I think that, yes, AAA had to pivot and just like lean into that whole thing because, I don't know, Triple H doesn't watch his entire product line. But anyway, we did get the Creed brothers in masks against Los Americanos in a no DQ tornado tag team match. I'm not even sure who won this match. I'm not even sure if there was a winner of this match. It doesn't even matter. It was just brutality. It was just them beating the crap out of each other. I legit, the original Grande Americano came out and took out the Americanos. I don't think there had been a winner up to this point, and then just all chaos broke out. We had the real Grande Americano, the best Grande Americano, the only Grande Americano come out. And yeah, that whole thing about them not being able to lay hands on each other, out the window tonight. Both dudes just ran at each other. So what happened was we did kind of play around with that whole, you're not supposed to touch each other, otherwise, the mask comes off immediately. We played with that. And then we had the original Grande Americano. He retreated. He started to walk away. The real Grande Americano grabbed a microphone, talked a whole bunch of crap to him. The thing that stood out the most was that he said, that is why you will always be Shorty G. So I don't know what this real Grande Americano knows about the original Grande Americano, but there's only one guy that I can remember as being called Shorty G. And I'm not saying that that's who's behind this mask, but it sounds like the real Grande Americano knows who's behind the original Grande Americano's mask. So really interesting there that he threw that out there. Of course, this angered the original Grande Americano. He ran back into the ring. He took off his shirt, and then under his shirt, he had another shirt with a picture of Andrea, and it said Despedida on it. This just set Ludwig Kaiser off. What am I talking about? I got Ludwig on my mind. I'm sorry. This just set the Rio Grande Americano off. Why would I bring up Ludwig Kaiser? That's weird, right? That's just set the Rio Grande Americano off. At one point, he had talked about, like, before the whole retreating thing, he talked about this being for Pimpinela, this being for Ojitos de Huevo, this being, he said, for my girlfriend, Andrea. So it's official, I guess. It's canon in AAA. They are dating. But yeah, so this set the Rio Grande Americano off, and the two just said screw it and started to rush each other, but both teams pulled them apart, right? The Credos and the Americanos pulled these two guys apart, and they didn't care. They got away, and they started to attack each other. They went at it in the middle of the ring, punching each other. The entirety of the locker room had to come out to pull these guys apart. Rey Mysterio came out. He's like, you guys aren't getting away with this. We are still getting the match next week, because, of course, we knew The stipulation was if they lay a hand on each other, they get unmasked immediately, and we don't get a match on May 30th. But Rey Mysterio said, no, I don't care. You guys are not ruining this match for me. So we're still getting that match on May 30th at Noche de los Grandes between the Rio Grande Americano and the original Grande Americano, Shorty G. I don't know. I don't know what the Rio Grande Americano meant by that, but I guess we might find out. This, I'm telling you, you might all be tired of hearing this from me, but I'm not tired of saying it. The best feud in all of wrestling is the original Grande Americano versus the Rio Grande Americano. And I don't know where we go from here after we unmask one of them. I have to believe that we have something else worked up that might be just as good or better. But for now, I'm just enjoying this. And I cannot wait for next Saturday, May 30th. Not because of Clash in Italy. I could give a crap about Clash in Italy if I'm being perfectly honest. For this match, I cannot wait for the Rio Grande Americano versus the original Grande Americano. Máscara contra máscara, mask versus mask. I have no words. I ran out of words to say because I just simply can't wait. That was everything that happened on AAA. See, short, literally 3 segments that told 3 great stories in AAA, and I can't wait. I can't wait for Noche de los Grandes. Moving on to Saturday night's main event, though, this show also very good. It honestly was better than I expected. Do I think that it was necessary? No. If Saturday night's main event wouldn't have happened, would anything have changed? No, nothing would have changed. But it was still a really fun night of wrestling. 5 matches overall, 2 hours. It flew by, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed this night of wrestling. The first match we got was Charlotte Flair, Alexa Bliss, and Rhea Ripley versus Jade Cargill, B-Fab, and Michin. Look, and my prediction was that I needed Jade Cargill's team to win this match because otherwise, what was the point? Right? Otherwise, what is the point of turning heel? What is the point of creating this faction around her? What is the point of Michin and B-Fab aligning themselves with Jade Cargill? What would be the point if they didn't win this tonight? And that's exactly what happened. We did get a win from Jade Cargill's team. Jade Cargill got the visual pinfall. She got the pinfall on Rhea Ripley tonight. She got her with another Jaded as the 3, as Alexa, Charlotte, and Rhea were celebrating prematurely in the middle of the ring. It seemed that they were all getting along. Jade Cargill came in, took the other 2 out, hit Rhea Ripley with a Jaded, and then 1, 2, 3. This is 2 nights in a row that Jade stands tall over Rhea Ripley with a Jaded. Does this mean that she'll become WWE Women's Champion at Clash of Italy? Probably not. I just don't see a world where WWE would take the belt off of Rhea Ripley during her first major title defense. I don't think that that's going to happen, but this kind of gives you the illusion. It gives you the doubt. It plants that seed in your mind of like, oh, maybe, but I don't think it's going to happen. But again, I'm glad that WWE decided to give the win here to Jade Cargill and her team. Because, yeah, otherwise, what would be the point? So at least this buys them some time, even if Jade doesn't win at Clash in Italy. It buys them a little bit of heel heat, I guess. So I'm okay with it. I'm okay with the way that this match ended. 1 for 1 with my predictions. Ain't nothing wrong with that. That match was really entertaining. It lasted 30 minutes maybe. But the next match, also entertaining, was a lot shorter because it ended in a disqualification. That was Sol Ruca versus Becky Lynch. The match ended with Sol Ruca trying to do her Soul Snatcher off the turnbuckle on Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch, however, threw the referee. It's the same referee whose name I can't remember. The same woman who Becky has been claiming has been screwing her week after week. She was the referee. Becky Lynch threw her in the way instead. So Sol Ruca hit her with the Soul Snatcher, hit the referee with the Soul Snatcher, and the referee called for the bell, but she declared Sol Ruca the winner because she was aware of the fact that Becky threw her in the way on purpose. So Becky Lynch was disqualified, and Sol Ruca did get the win here tonight. Just like I said, by the way, I said if this wasn't a title match, Sol Ruca would win, and that's exactly what happened. After this match, however, Becky Lynch is, well, first of all, Becky Lynch comes back into the ring. She continues to attack Sol Ruca, and that's kind of how this segment ends. It's her on top after she has attacked Sol Ruca after the bell after this match. Becky Lynch then goes backstage. She runs into Nick Aldis. Nick Aldis is like, I talked to Adam Pearce, and we will be getting Sol Ruca versus Becky Lynch for the Women's Intercontinental Championship at Clash in Italy. So that's going to be a really fun match. We'll get a predictions video for this at some point, but I don't think you do Becky versus Sol Ruca at Saturday night's main event and end it in this capacity if your plan isn't to put the belt on Sol Ruca, which I'm not angry at. I think this is going to be a really fun match. I have no problem with this match lasting as little as it did and ending in the way that it did because we have the rematch essentially lined up for Clash in Italy. So totally fine with it. I am totally on board with everything that happened here. Thumbs up. Also, I said Sol Ruca would win, so 2 out of 2. We then move on to the men's IC championship match between Penta and Ethan Page. Penta got the win tonight. Again, prediction was correct, 3 out of 3. Penta got the win tonight after Ethan Page was trying to do some heelish tactics, removing turnbuckle padding and trying to get Penta to run into them. Penta eventually did hit his Mexican Destroyer on Ethan Page, and he got the win, 1, 2, 3. Very fun match. I guess like my biggest thing with all of this is I don't know where we go from here. Like I thought maybe we'd get Rusev being involved in some way. Maybe Javon Evans. We haven't seen Javon Evans on TV for a few weeks, by the way, which concerns me. But I feel like WWE isn't dumb enough to drop the ball with him. So I thought we would get some sort of indication as to where we go from here. I guess we can get a rematch between Penta and Ethan Page. There was that whole alliance sort of that Ethan Page and Rusev had at one point where Ethan Page was like, look, as soon as I win the IC championship, you are my first defense, he told Rusev. So maybe Rusev now takes the baton and runs with it from here. I have no problem with Ethan Page losing so soon into his Monday Night Raw career. I just hope that they're able to bounce back from this in somehow, in some way. Again, whether we continue this feud and he gets another title shot, if that's the case, then I hope he eventually wins the IC championship himself. Otherwise, I just hope they have something else lined up for him that can help rebuild. I don't even want to say rebuild, but can help build him up and make him look strong because the dude is talented. The dude's a lot of fun. The dude's over. Even as a heel, the dude is so over and he's so good. So, yeah, no problem with this match. As far as where they go with the IC championship, I do think maybe we'll get some Rusev involvement moving forward. Maybe Ethan Page and Rusev can align again and kind of work to take the championship off of Penta and then eventually feud amongst themselves. I don't know. We'll see, I guess. But yeah, this match was really entertaining. No problem with the way it ended. The women's tag team championship match was the one that I was looking forward to the least. Yeah, the match was fine. Again, WWE isn't giving me a reason to care about Paige and Brie Bella. I don't think they have good chemistry. I guess they've kind of ran through the women's tag team division at this point, but I find them a little bit boring. I don't think that they have good chemistry together. I feel like every other women's tag team just has much better chemistry than them, work a lot better than they do. Call it ring rust, I don't know. Brie Bella and Paige did end up getting the win here tonight. Paige pinned, I want to say Lash Legend, but then she got some help from Brie Bella. Brie Bella kind of held her as she was getting the pin so that it would make it harder for, again, I want to say Lash Legend to kick out. And yeah, they got the 1, 2, 3, they got the win. So kind of like maybe cheating a little bit. Perhaps that's what keeps this story going. Perhaps we get a rematch here, which honestly I would have no problem with. I think we got to take the tag team championships off of Brie and Paige. I just do. Also, like, where's Nikki? She was touch and go for WrestleMania. It was like questionable. It was like week to week. Maybe she'll be cleared. Maybe she won't. So I would have to guess that she's cleared by now. But where is she? Where is she in all of this? I don't know. I think ultimately the tag team championships are going to go on Bayley and Lyra Valkyria. I think that that's the right call. Anyone but Brie and Paige at this point. And we've made it to the main event of Saturday night's main event. It was the Vision versus the Street Profits for the WWE World Tag Team Championships. Are those the ones on Raw? I think those are the ones on Raw. This was a fun match. This was really good. It was much better than I expected. Man, the Street Profits are just so good. And nothing makes you realize that WWE has completely destroyed their tag team division than when you see a tag team like the Street Profits get in the ring. I will admit, there was some like weird video before this match talking about like tag teams and like having each other's back type of thing, and like you always have a partner when you're in a tag team. So that made me think that, oh, now the Street Profits are breaking up. But Montez is going to turn on Angelo Dawson tonight, and that's it. We're going to see the end of the Street Profits. Thankfully, that is not what happened. But man, this was a great match. Great match. The Vision did end up winning, of course, due to shenanigans. We had Braun Breaker come out at one point and try to spear Montez Ford. Montez just like jumped over him, and he was caught on the other side. Braun Breaker was caught on the other side by Angelo Dawkins, who just like pushed him onto the announce table, onto the ringside announce table, and yeah, that he took out Braun Breaker just like that. That was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that spot. They then brought in what's his face? They then brought in Austin Theory, and the Street Profits had him done. 1, 2, and of course, we had Paul Heyman put Austin Theory's foot on the rope, which stopped the count. Logan Paul then brought out his brass knuckles, and that ended up giving Division the win. I like how much Joe Henry's song and part in all of this has just taken over, because the entire front row, the entire hard camera just had nothing but signs that said "Fire Logan Paul." I love it. There is something weird and icky, I think, having a storyline of people wanting a wrestler fired, considering all of the actual firings that WWE has done lately. Now, it would be icky, and I would hate it if it wasn't Logan Paul. Logan Paul is trash, and I'm glad that this storyline is happening around him. And if they fire Logan Paul, I'd be perfectly fine with that. But that being said, this was a great match. This was a great match. I do think that we will probably get some sort of rematch here. See, that's the thing. This is why I started this video by saying that if Saturday night's main event wouldn't have happened, nothing would have changed. First match, we got the heels winning. I guess they needed a win, so sure, maybe that tilts the scale a little bit for Rhea Ripley versus Jade Cargill. But no, there's no way that Jade is winning that match. Second match of the night, we had a quick 5-minute match that ended in a DQ just to get us to Clash in Italy to get the same match for the IC Championship. Would not have mattered if we didn't get this match tonight. IC Championship, Ethan Page versus Penta. Penta won, he retained. Nothing would have changed if this match wouldn't have happened. Women's Tag Team Champions, Brie Bella and Paige versus Nia Jax and Lash Legend. Nothing would have changed if that match never happened. Brie and I keep saying Ethan Page. Brie Bella and Paige retained and are still women's tag team champions. Nothing would have changed. And in this match here, right, we're probably going to get this match again where the Street Profits will eventually win and become WWE World Tag Team Champions. So, yeah, while this match was a lot of fun, while I guess it established the Vision as this heel faction that has each other's back, like, it doesn't do anything for storyline. It doesn't change how the Vision is perceived. It doesn't make the Vision look stronger or weaker. It doesn't make the Street Profits look stronger or weaker. It reminds us that the Street Profits are really damn good as a tag team. But other than that, yeah, if tonight wouldn't have happened, nothing would have changed in the world of WWE. So, yeah, great match. Like I said, the outcome was different than I was expecting. This was the only match I got wrong, by the way. I think I said that the Street Profits would win this match. I don't know. I think I also said Nia Jax and Lash Legend would win that match. So I lost track of my predictions. But yeah, this was a really fun match and I enjoyed it. But let's put the tag team titles on the Street Profits ASAP. But then also, like, what happens then? Like, there are no tag teams left in WWE. There are no tag teams left on Monday Night Raw. So regardless of who you put the tag team titles on after this feud is over, then what? That's the big question, honestly. There you have it. A really fun night of wrestling tonight. We had AAA Lucha things. We had Saturday night main event. Honestly, if you can only watch one of these two shows, I would watch the AAA show. 1 hour, 3 segments. So much fun. Saturday night's main event, though, definitely better than I expected. If I had to rank these two, and you guys know sometimes I do, I would give AAA a 4.5 out of 5. That Grande Americano versus Grande Americano feud is just so amazing. I don't know what they're going to follow this up with. I'm scared that they can't, but this feud just does it for me week after week. And as far as Saturday night's main event is concerned, 4 out of 5. Yeah, respectable, pretty good. Flew by, didn't hate it. Much better than I expected. But again, wouldn't have mattered if this event wouldn't have happened. So, there you have it, though. Since you made it this far, make sure to drop a like, make sure to hit subscribe, make sure to do all the things that you do. Let me know in the comments what you thought about Saturday night's main event. Let me know in the comments what you thought about AAA. Make sure to hit this video. It's probably going to be Friday Night SmackDown Explained. Go check it out. You can find out my thoughts about SmackDown. Spoiler alert, it was better than other weeks, I guess. What a great weekend of wrestling. We still have AEW's Double or Nothing this weekend on Sunday night. So excited for that show. It's happening in New York City, where I live. It's happening in Queens, and it's a bummer that I can't go, but I'm not a deadbeat dad like Rey Mysterio. So I'm staying home with this guy. I'm watching it on TV. It's going to be a lot of fun. If you don't watch AEW, you're doing something wrong, because AEW is on the up and up right now, and I guarantee that if you checked it out, you're going to find something you like. So this is not an ad for AEW, but go check it out. Especially Double or Nothing is going to be such a fun show. I cannot wait. Again, check out this video. I said it earlier, but it was way too early for the thing to pop up. So check it out. It's or here. I don't know. It's SmackDown. Yeah. Anyway, though, as always, until next time, have a nice day.